We're live? Right, so we have made some major improvements to the way the first level works. And the next thing is to, what I was going to call this stream like programming shadows, but way back when I did the shadows, I made it work on basically any object. So it will follow the, like, as the level goes on, the shadows move slightly. I just think that's a nice touch. And I've just popped that on the trees. And yeah, the characters themselves have nicer shadows. The problem though, so yeah, the characters, it looks good. The problem, and it kind of comes through in Sean's hair as well, kind of makes me think I was better off, like I've just made it so that the shadows match the character. But then you see their shadow kind of, I don't know if that's really annoying, but that's kind of not right with the shadow coming down there. But then on the mage, it looks really good. And on most of the characters, it looks really good. But it's that bottom part, because it's not really a shadow, you see. So you can see the bottom of the tree here. The shadow is up here. And yeah, that bow just kind of came over the tree. But yeah, now that we've got these little stones and tufts of grass and these like moving clouds here, I hope those moving clouds aren't just going to be confusing and people are going to be like, what is going on with that? I hope that it will be obvious that those are shadows of clouds rather than sort of little swirls of death. And yeah, I'm going to make some different trees, make some different bushes, and we'll get this right. But I already feel like the level just looks so much nicer. So much more loved. So yeah, we're looking good. So what I've got is a little list of things to do. So little stones in the ground, yeah, we've done that. And we've actually done different versions of the stones, and they look fine. What we need is alt versions of the trees, and this is an interesting one because yeah, things don't quite look great when just because the bottom of the tree is so wide and flat. So an easy sort of fix for that is to, so let's go get scenery, tree, and basically just make the bottom of the tree a bit straighter, and that should kind of fix that issue. It's a bit awkward to have to make compromises on the shape of something just to account for my fake shadow rendering, but I think it's a necessary evil. So we will draw this again from scratch, and we get our black, which should probably be off black, so like generally 15, around 15 is good. And I'm just gonna have like a straighter bottom to it. Turn that off, please. And yeah, it seems that I didn't color in the bottom. So if we start from like here, get our tree shape, and then we've got our bumpy tree shape. Just doing it organically by hand, and actually like this doesn't cut it. What we want is like this sort of so yeah, let's block it out. I wonder if that's a bit big actually. It's a bit top heavy maybe. And then we want this color, and we can kind of do these sort of lumpy bits that we can shade. So first let's just shade the tree itself. Let's try that again. And just get nice like shade to the tree. And then what we want is this kind of, rather than just doing random squiggles, kind of lumpiness to the tree. So how do I do that? I kind of did it well with the clouds. So I'm going to open up the cloud. That would be in... See, I'm going to want to make our own clouds for this. Storm cloud. So we kind of make our lump and then we shade the lump like that. So we make our lump and then the lump needs shading. Let's draw our lumps. And try and kind of continue the shape of the tree. I'm learning way more about drawing than I was originally prepared to learn. And then basically we want to kind of just shade these up. So this would kind of... Is that right? Let's... Let's just like shade this from here. And then shade this from like here. I don't know if what I'm doing is right. Like, and then this would be like shaded like that. Hello? And then this would be shaded like that. Or would it just be like... So is it that we want to do it basically all dark green and then draw in our lumps kind of thing? Just the tops of these lumps. So we'd go like up. Does this just look weird? I think this kind of just looks weird. So let's try again. So let's start by like, I mean, does that look good? I don't think that looks good. I think I'm like fundamentally misunderstanding the way to draw these kind of nice lumpy shapes. So pixel art tree images. Let's find something. Okay, yeah, so it's less so lumps. So I think that this works. So I'm looking at... So it's got a bunch of like trees from Google Images. And I think like this one kind of fits our style a bit. But actually I think I'm going to look at, where was it? So if we sort of said, so yeah, I'm just going to be using that as reference. I like this one. So if I can get my shapes of the lumps in, and I'm kind of just going to be a bit cheeky and just kind of copy a little bit that. So this would come in a bit like this, and then kind of come like that, and then this would kind of come up here. So let's try and make these lines match. We'll get there. We'll get better at drawing trees. And then if this was like that, and I think we've sort of achieved some sort of organic shape here. And then essentially, I just want to light shade the bits that kind of are at the tops. So we kind of shade, we get this one. And this one. Yeah, let's do from like here. And maybe we would actually just continue that like that. And then what do I do about this? So like, let's say that's like that. And then this is a nice big old lump that we just... And give this one a nice big one because it's at the top. And then this line, I don't want to match it. I want to start from here and kind of end up coming off the edge there. And then we're sort of much closer to having something that looks like a nice cartoon tree. So I feel like we can go ahead and add this. And there's slightly less on the other side. And then I think that looks quite nice. So the next thing I wanted, so this wasn't too bad actually. But I kind of want to pop this in the scene. So make this the new tree. So yeah, let's get rid of the old ones. Export this over the old one. And I just want to actually we can just go into scenery, tree, see how the shadow sits on that by default. So yeah, it doesn't need to, I kind of pushed it like a little bit too far back, but as long as we're kind of mainly obscuring that and see where the shadow pokes out there, I kind of just don't want to see that, or at least for it to be very, very subtle. And let's just have a quick gander and see how that looks. I feel like it's quite distracting. I feel like these black lines are kind of a bit too strong, but at least the shadow sits better, and I'm happier with the shape of the tree. It's a bit annoying that, yeah, the way the shadow of the tree comes in. So could we... So if we take our tree... And where is that? So that's 0. So could this be... Because if I increase... Yeah. So this is the problem with doing kind of fake shadows. But maybe that's just sort of fine and to be expected. Like it's a lesser of two evils. And then we would actually want it to have its little... slightly bigger shadow, and for both of these to have a lower opacity at about 15. I need someone to come in and look at the colors. I think that's kind of subtle enough. Let's see if that becomes a bother, or if people go, that looks weird, but like the shadow doesn't really climb up the character at all, obviously, and it doesn't... But I think it's better than not having the shadow. And actually what I'm going to do is, so we have shadow... Shadow mover. And we go from minus 40 to 40. Let's go from minus 30 to 30. Just to kind of make it a bit more... you know, so that the seams don't show so much. Yeah, I think that looks a tad better. Okay, let's just knock this out one thing at a time. I think it would be good if... So is it too much to have shadows on the stones? I think what might look good is if the stones and the tufts just had, I don't know, like, I don't know if this is too much for the scene. I mean, obviously it's going to be cheaper than just having shadows, but what if the stones also had shadows? So we just go this, and so this would be... And this would be White renderer, just using the same material because it works. This would be at 15, except we won't be needing a double shadow for the stones. Let's give that a quick look. So I think these shadows kind of do give the scene some depth. I think they're worth having, and if it's not an issue to kind of just have them in the scene, then why not keep them, eh? Looks like these stones do not have a shadow. So what's gone wrong there? Why don't the stones have a shadow? Oh, they do. It's just maybe... Oh, because I didn't put the shadow mover on. Silly me. Did put that on the shadow, right? Yeah. Is that adding enough to justify the cost? Can't even see it on some of them. So if I dig in and have a look. It is there. It's just that maybe it's a bit too subtle. So what if we just made it a bit stronger? Because I think for the tree, it's 15 plus 15, so 25 would make sense. So I think these shadows are actually quite cheap, so it's not an issue with frame rate cost. Oh, have I put it on? Oh god, I'm such a moron sometimes. While I'm testing this, just to get quicker load times. It's like barely visible. I don't think it's really adding it. Maybe it is. They ought to be higher. Just moved out a step. I think it does add a little bit of depth. And I wonder if we'd expect to see it on these tufts. I'm going to optimize Shadow Mover. I'm going to make it run from, so not each, yeah, so put that on my list, make move shadows central. So what if we did the same for these tufts? Will that? What's up with the stream? Annoying. Will this just make the scene noisy, or will it make it complete? I think it does add something. Yeah, it does. Okay. So I think the next thing is to do a couple different kinds of trees. So we just try it, like if I just attempt to do the same thing. So we just, maybe this one has a branch. pressing N instead of B. Rest my voice a bit today because I had a bit of a throat thingy last night and today, so usually more talkative in these streams, but today I think not. Yeah, I think the color of these trees might be completely off. I'm gonna call my wife in to help me with that. And actually, I think I'd like to see a few more trees. twice as many. Yeah, I think the trees having shadows makes a big difference. And the fact that the trees' shadows don't react particularly realistically, I think is fine. And the stones just have very subtle shadows, but I think that's good. And the tufts look great, I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to call in my wife to help with the colour of the trees. There is one thing I want to try. So if we took this one and said that these bits should actually all be this colour, how does that look? So I'll just pinch up the edges here. Is this better? Let's try it before we do that. Let's make another one and let's just do it within darker green. I think that's a bit better. It's kind of breaking the tone rule. I think that does look marginally better. And then if we wanted to just say take that, is that better? I don't think it is. Yeah, I think when we generate scenery, We do random.range, and that's going to be an int, yeah. And then if, so we do 0 and 1, if roll is equal to 1. Then I would have to do it for shadows as well. Okay, we can manage that. Just to have a bit more, even more sort of fake variety. And we can probably, actually, this would be nice. So ever so slightly increase loading times, but I don't think it should do much harm otherwise. And it's worth it, I think. I think people would be happy to spend a few fractions of a second loading to have nicer shadows. And okay, yeah, then we can end up with really big clouds and small clouds. Oh, but the tufts of grass. Okay, I think that size differential might be a bit much. Because have we already modified the scale? Ah, no, because it's always times equals. Okay. Oh, no. Yeah, so it should make something smaller. Seems to have generated fewer things as well. How did it go up to 13? What? Oh, because it's editing the prefab. Ah, fuck. This OBJ. Oh dear, what have I done? Oof, oof. I hope I haven't fucked everything like that. Damn it, I think I fucked everything. That's really annoying. That shouldn't save that. But yeah, I guess it does. Alright. So... Okay, fortunately it hasn't messed with... It's only messed with these ones. Yeah, so... It's very odd. So speed 3. From memory, this is 5. I've only got 2 trees for the moment. Tuft is 3. Okay, let's see what that did. And have any of them been flipped? Yeah, so we can have big trees and small trees, and big tufts and small tufts, and I think it has kind of made everything look a bit more organic. Like that stone is actually that stone, but because it's bigger, you kind of can't notice so quickly. And yeah, different ponds are different sizes. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Is the size differential too high? No, I think it's about right. None of them appear to be flipped, though. Because I usually use a float for rolls, so I'm not really used to using ints, but I would have thought that if I say between 0 and 1, it's going to be either 0 or 1 with a 50-50 chance. Well, I can still see this. So it's always 0. Why is it always 0? I mean, I'm just trying to be slightly optimized here. I could just use a... Oh, it's because I've said float. Okay, int, roll. Okay, let's try that. I mean, I would think that would still produce a float that is either 1 or 0. Yeah, it's still just 0 every time. I don't know why. Okay, why? But you see if Gemini can help me here. Why is always 0? But if it's inclusive, I would have thought that that's means that it could be 2. Okay, let's just try that. I mean, I would have thought if you say between 0 and 1 inclusive, then it's including 1 as an option, right? Should have like some 0s and some 1s. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, well apparently that works. That to me that just defies oh, min inclusive, max exclusive. I see. Okay, fine. It works. So now we have even more like variation in the trees. They're different sizes. Some of them are flipped, some of them aren't. And I think this just immediately looks like a better scene. Just having that little texture to the ground. Yeah, what do we think then? I think the clouds end up looking good. I need to draw the different versions, but let's do some fiddly stuff first. So I want to say, okay. So generate ponds. Okay, so generate scenery piece, and so we'll do ponds last, and then we'll say like hopefully this won't take too long, but basically I want to say like if pond, and we could standardize that a bit more. If pond delete any objects caught within, so we would say if, and we can do this obj dot name. Are we doing name? I think it has like that with clone. If, let's just do the prefab, if, and actually I'm just going to change this because that was the if scenery prefab dot name dot contains hello scenery prefab and yeah, should this happen with using the, because I don't want to do like an on trigger enter, so no, for each game object, for each transform trans in scenery transform vector 3 if vector 3 dot distance dot between this obj dot transform dot position trans dot position is less than this obj. Would it be this obj dot scale? No, I think because the sprite render, so like let's say 3, and we'll have to make a list, and we'll make it outside of this list game object objects to destroy new list game object objects to destroy dot add trans dot game object. And then once we're done with all of this, we say for each game object obj in objects to destroy. Oh. How do I usually do this? Because the thing is, we're going to modify the list, and it doesn't like that. I think if you're doing it from a list, it doesn't like it. But if you're doing it from a transform, so we just say, hopefully we can just say destroy trans dot game object, destroy game object dot destroy trans dot game object. Just so that we don't get things appearing in ponds. And then if something appears in a pond, then I've got that wrong, and I can go back to it. But at the moment, again, I just think the level just looks so much. Just these little tufts of grass, these little stones, just adds so much. I think the black in the trees might be a bit strong, but maybe it's fine. So like I said, I could switch to this style instead, where we just soften the black a little bit. Might be better. Actually, I don't feel the need for the extra trees, but we'll just keep that on the list for now. I mean, it's like the trees are bothersome if you look at them. And I kind of want to stick to my rule of like 2-tone for every color. The clouds look good, and I like the differentials, and yeah, here's 2 trees next to each other, and they clearly look different, and it's just going to subtly tell the player, look, I spent time on this, I thought about this. bit annoying how the shadows like work, but it's fine. And yeah, that tuft kind of appears earlier than it should, but as we walk over it, can't find any ponds. Well, let's just do a quick scan. I wonder if we've just ended up deleting all the ponds. Yeah, we have. We just don't have... because it's deleting itself. So if trans is not equal, trans.gameObject is not equal to this obj. Okay, yep. Ponds are no longer deleting themselves. That leaf kind of coming in over the pond. It's a bit close for comfort, but let's just see. Oh, and that stone is right on the edge, so I think 3 was probably like the correct number. But let's have a look. I want to move faster. But yeah, I can't see too many problems occurring. So maybe we just extend that number a little bit, because I don't actually mind the things like being right on the tip. And it's, if they are, it's rare, just as in real life. But yeah, I mean, this scene is so much better, and the clouds coming over. I wonder if clouds should ever overlap each other. And yeah, I think it's time to do the bushes again. It's the most pressing thing, I think. But yeah, I mean, just compare this to how it looked before. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's night and day. It's night and day. Alright, but the bushes are really sticking out like a sore thumb, so I think that's the next thing to work on. So we go... done with this. Guess we can keep tree open. Bush sprites. Scenery, bush. And yeah, we can do a lot better than this. So we'll keep tree open. And yeah, we go with the black background. And we just build this lumpy thing. That should probably be slightly wider than it is tall. And probably shouldn't Let's keep the same color for now, but I think I will grab my wife and ask her to pick a different color for each of these. We're actually going to do the bottom of like this, just so it's not such a hard edge that there's a bit of a curve to it. Maybe even less than that. And we're going to take this color now and first just and then try and just find the natural lumps and then just kind of create some where we feel like there isn't one and there should be. For some reason I'm not liking those positions, they're like too close to other lines. And I wonder, so here I think I am going to attempt to not use the black. And this is weird though, because we sort of end up with these like little sort of, I don't know, like I'm not very good at this. Like with the black you kind of know where you are, but maybe actually like this is fine. We don't actually need to go any further than this. Would there be a little texture? Maybe, yeah. Kind of looks like a brain now, I don't know. Does that look good? Is that just distracting? I'm going to make another one. I'm just going to undo. Can I just undo? I'll copy this. And then just undo the shit out of it. And then make a new one. And paste it. So which one looks better? I think this one looks better. So before I make like 3 of those, I'll try that in the scene. Yeah, this is good. Okay, and I'll just copy that twice. Stick with the rule of 3. I'll actually go ahead and put this in the planes one. It's alright if they exist outside of the planes, but they're still, you know, from the planes, of the planes. Okay, yeah, I think I'm back. So something happened. I think like OBS just shat the bed, and then I think like the whole desktop shat the bed. And as you can see, there's nothing on my desktop, so I think something has gone horribly wrong. So I'm going to restart my computer, give it a bit of a break, and probably that's it for the day. I might do a bit more, but I'll go through what I did at the beginning of the next stream. So thanks for anyone who joined today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, this week I've got driving lessons and lots of childcare, so I'll join when I can.